Ladies and gentlemen, I am just very convinced that the level of stupidity, idiocy, or whatever you want to call it, and the downright sheer retardedness in the human race in 2021 is at an all-time high, y'all. I literally cannot make this up, and I really wish that I was making this up because a lot of my fans have been DMing me, they have been commenting on videos, and telling me about this messed up situation about how Illinois politicians in my home state want to actually ban violent video games like Grand Theft Auto for the recent rise in carjackings in Chicago, Illinois, my former hometown. And you know, I really thought that we left this sort of thing back in 2019 and even 2020 when mass shootings and shootings in general was just at an all-time high in the United States of America. You know, the country that has a Second Amendment, it has more guns than damn near half the population. And now, if you have been living under a rock or haven't been caught up in recent gaming news, let me just catch you up to date. So basically, Illinois politicians, which is in my home state, actually want to ban games like Grand Theft Auto, or more specifically Grand Theft Auto, and they singled it out for some odd apparent reason, but I'm gonna get to that later. But anyways, they want to blame video games once again for, of all things, carjackings. And I think that it's just getting to the point where boomers have no place at all in this world to be speaking about video games when some of these people look like they're damn near 99 years old. And let me just also say this for anybody that isn't familiar with the Illinois area, or more importantly the Chicago area. Now, I lived on the west side of Chicago for the past 17 and a half years, or like the first 17 and a half years of my life. I'm 20 now. I moved out of Chicago, Illinois when halfway in 2018, I believe it was. And the main reason why I moved out was because it's a very fucked up place to live, or even try to live in, because not only do we have high amounts of crime, we also have shootings going on left and right because of gang violence. We have gangs all over the place. It's heavily segregated, especially in the downtown area and anywhere in between. And on top of that, we have drugs and carjackings, like it says in like the news articles that I'm gonna get into, and everything in between. And for the past few years now, actually, or really the past decade, Chicago has had this reputation of being the most dangerous city, or one of the most dangerous cities in the United States of America, because of the high crime rate, the homicide rate, and also the fact that there has been more homicides than the deaths of US soldiers in Iraq over the past 20 or so years. And as a matter of fact, take a look at this news clip that I finally found on the internet, because you guys aren't gonna believe me.
In just the last few days, 3 teens have been arrested for carjackings in Chicago. People have been saying for months now that teens are running around the city and carjacking people like it's a video game.
But now local lawmakers are doubling down on that idea, saying that video game should be banned.
Tia Ewing has more.
The carjacking suspects aren't even old enough to drive.
To survive, they have to set up and pull off a series of increasingly audacious heists.
Philanthropist Early Walker says violent video games like Grand Theft Auto could be influencing their young minds.
There are instances in the game where an individual pulls up to a car, bumps the car, taps the car, gets out, pulls the individual out of the car, carjacks the car, pulls off.
Walker met with Illinois State Representative Marcus Evans in January, and from there, legislation was drafted to amend a 2012 law preventing some games, including Grand Theft Auto, from being sold to children in Illinois.
House Bill 3531, which will ban these video games and send a message.
Different versions of Grand Theft Auto have been banned or censored in 5 different countries, but never in the United States. This past Friday, a former police officer was carjacked in his own driveway in the south suburbs. The car was later found in Harvey with the young suspect still in it.
They don't care. They feel they're going to get right back out, especially juveniles.
An expert told us the game can be the cause of violence, but it isn't the only factor.
Should it be banned? I think so. However, there's probably lots of reasons for theft and lots of reasons for violence.
Tia Ewing, Fox 32 News.
Now, we did reach out to the makers of Grand Theft Auto. Rockstar Games never responded to our request for this story.
Alright guys, you heard it there right then and there, and I obviously have a lot of things to say about this. Now obviously I think the very first thing that I need to address the elephant in the room is that you notice how, like, not only did they pick and choose GTA out of all games, they didn't even include Call of Duty, they didn't include Halo, they didn't include other games like Fallout or The Last of Us or anything else remotely close to GTA or is as violent as GTA. And the second thing I also want to address is that they said that they reached out or tried to reach out to Rockstar Games for a response about this, and obviously I just want to say good luck with that, because their support team is like one of the laziest in the world. Yeah, good luck trying to get a freaking response out of them with this whole entire news story going about. And now, I said it before and I'll say it again, and I honestly feel like a broken record at this point because I said it in so many amount of my other videos, is that what is it with the mainstream media and being completely biased against things that we enjoy as American people? Because you notice how not only did they pick and choose GTA out of any other game, one time they tried to blame Call of Duty for mass shootings, and this was back in 2018 or 2019, but notice how they only picked GTA. And I can say wholeheartedly that the mainstream media is completely biased, because what the mainstream media does is that they take news stories like this, or they take trends like this that's happening, and not even try to correlate it with people is just doing this because they're people, or blaming it because of the people doing this. They immediately jump ship and blame video games or movies or anything else. They always do this, and they have been doing this for the past 20 or so years now. And the other thing that I also want to address here is that they said that it's primarily teenagers doing this. Now there is some adults doing this, but it's prominently teenagers. And then my biggest question is, where is the parents at? That's my biggest question. Who is letting their kids go around doing this kind of stuff? And this is the problem I'm talking about. They did not blame the parents whatsoever. They did not ask, where's their parents at? Where's their dad at? Where's their mom at? And this is also a common problem, especially in the black community in Chicago, Illinois, and cities like Chicago, Illinois, is that for the most part, it's mostly single parent households raising these kids. And then of course they go on and join gangs, they get involved in crime, they get involved with drugs and everything else because these parents don't really want to raise their kids properly. And also, when I was checking up on this news article, plus I'm gonna leave it down in the description down below if you guys want to check it out, but what they're basically saying is that in 2012 they put in a law where they can't even sell violent video games to children. And yes, hypothetically speaking, that does make sense because it's a mature rated game and you need to be 17 years or older to play it, and plus show an ID, might I add, at a GameStop or a Walmart or wherever you're purchasing it at. So yeah, that makes sense. But what they're trying to do right now is that they're trying to ban it for everybody, including adults.
What?
Just imagine that. A 30-year-old can't even buy GTA, but if you're at the age of 18, you can drive a car. At 21, you can buy alcohol, you can buy cigarettes. At 18, you can be drafted to the military, you can own a firearm. At 21, you can have your firearms license or your concealed and carry license. You can do all of that before 30, but no, if you're over 21, you can't play Grand Theft Auto. Just how crazy does that sound? I am literally at a loss for words. I can't even speak right now because this is so crazy and just utterly stupid. And not only did they try to make this argument again that violent video games causes violence, but for the past 20 or 30 years, the FCC or scientists have been making countless amount of studies to try to find the correlation between violent video games and violent behavior, and they haven't found anything as far as I'm concerned. And even back in 2017 or 2018, when Donald Trump was trying to get video games banned or put a ban on video games or like try to do something with video games and he got involved, like scientists and the FCC, they shut him down. And trying to shut down Donald Trump is like trying to like take on the Golden State Warriors 1v5, the 2015 Golden State Warriors 1v5, blindfolded with one hand tied behind your back, and then you don't get anything out of it because they're gonna still win. And they love doing stories like this, and they love trying to spark drama like this with violent video games and try to put some type of law on violent video games because they know that their views are dipping, their viewership has been tanking ever since social media has been a thing. And since YouTube, social media like Twitter, Instagram, etc. has been pretty much the new source of getting news these days, they have been doing everything they can to try to stay relevant in the mainstream media and try to get their views back up. And apparently it's not doing anything because people still hate them as much as they do back in 2001. Geez, they want to make arguments like this, but meanwhile people like me have done countless school projects about how violent video games have no relation with violent crimes in the real, and had to make countless school projects stayed up all night trying to find the correlation between it like I'm some kind of mad scientist like Rick and Morty. Like, it's ridiculous how they still try to pull this argument. Well shoot, by their logic, since I played a lot of NBA 2K in my childhood, like I should be the next LeBron James or Michael Jordan. In that case, since I played Call of Duty, I may as well get drafted to World War III. I have a 1.15 KD on Black Ops 4 and Modern Warfare, so I don't see why not if we're gonna go by that logic. And then on top of that, you got these freaking people that's old enough to be my great grandfather trying to get excuses as to why violent video games should be banned, but also want to throw around excuses as to why violent crimes happen. But I really don't understand this weird obsession that these freaking old cretinous fucks have with video games and why they're trying to get video games banned so often. And maybe it's because like it's one of like the most popular sources of media that we've seen in history. I don't know, and they're just jealous of it. But I really don't know, because the arguments that they throw around is completely laughable. And it honestly makes me sick as an Illinois taxpayer that I have to sit around and look at Illinois politicians go around and try to propose laws like this that isn't gonna help the problem. If this law gets passed, and I highly doubt that it will get passed, all it's gonna do is just gonna create more crime. And how is it gonna create more crime? Because there's gonna be a complete black market and of Grand Theft Auto games or violent video games. People are gonna buy it in other states and then have it imported to Illinois and sell them off for the low. So really, they're just gonna cause more problems than there is good. But let me know what you guys think about this type of video down in the comments down below, man, because this honestly makes me sick that we have still not gotten past this, and these Karens, these boomers, these Chads, they will just never get it because they're old and they have no idea what they're talking about. But until they fix the homicide rate in Illinois every single time it gets warm outside and try to curb gang violence and try to do good in my black community and in the black community in Chicago, let me know. But until then, they can suck my dick. But let me know what you guys think about this down in the comments down below. This is your boy Gwop. Make sure you guys like and subscribe if you're new. And I'm out, bruh. This man in this clip for real looks like Bernie Sanders' fourth cousin on his mother's side. Over there looking like the viral egg that went viral on Instagram and never seen the light of day again. Old boy looked like Humpty Dumpty before he took a tumble and cracked his skull in two. Now I know going bald is completely natural, especially with men, but why does his forehead and his whole entire top of his head look brighter than my whole future? If you don't take your old
and notice it bald,
looking ass